Well, thank you all so much for coming and wanting to learn about mastering your metabolism. Before we get started, I'd love to know, pop in the chat for me, what you think about when you think about metabolism. What does it mean to you when you talk, when you think about your metabolism? While you're doing that, I'll just tell you a little bit about me and who I am and what I do. My name is Dorothy Putnam. I'm a mom, a dog mom, a grandma, and a recently citified farm girl. So I'm here in the northwest North Shore of Massachusetts after living on a farm most of my adult life. So I have to say, I have been interested in wellness all of my life. As long as I can remember, to some degree, I've kind of had an interest in wellness. And as I was a new mom, struggling with raising a family and staying healthy and losing baby weight, things like that, I started group fitness and then learned more about nutrition, got certified nutrition. And most recently, kind of the last piece of my wellness paradigm was learning about and incorporating plant-based wellness solutions, which is really just kind of put the whole wellness picture together for me. So, and as I learned more about health and I looked around at our nation and I see everybody's getting sicker and sicker and sicker, it really became my mission to do whatever I could to make a change in that paradigm. And it's really important to me to help people realize that they can take back control of their own wellness. 90% of this nation's healthcare is spent on chronic lifestyle diseases, things that can be addressed through lifestyle and nutrition changes. So I really feel strongly about helping people learn that they have that power to do that. So that's what I'm all about, is just sharing with people what I know and helping them. And that's my job, is to, everybody's a fingerprint, everybody's different. It's my job to help individuals find the way that works for them to lead a healthier life. So I want to check in here and see what we are all thinking about metabolism. Let me move my chat out of the way. Yes, absolutely. Plant-based. Okay. When I talk about metabolism, this is absolutely what people think when they think about metabolism. It's calories in, calories out, how you burn energy. Do you have a fast metabolism, a slow metabolism? But honestly, metabolism is way, way more than that. That's absolutely an aspect of it, but um, there's a lot more involved in that. There's hormones and there's all sorts of other factors that can affect your metabolism, but that's a place to start. Let's start there with calories in, calories out, burning calories, things like that when you think about metabolism. I don't know if any of you have tried to lose weight in the past and failed, or if you're trying to lose weight now, or if, not all of you are here to lose weight, but if that has been you in the past and somebody's just told you, well, just eat less and move more, and you've tried that and you failed and you feel like a failure, I hear you. And I'm here to say that that is not very good advice at all. There couldn't be anything farther from the truth about just eating less and moving more. There's so much more to metabolism than that. And really what you're going to do, like even me, when I was first starting out as a health coach, I was like, you're just not realizing how much you're eating, or just go out and burn more calories. I kind of, I shudder a little when I think about the advice I used to give people 20, 30 years ago. But there's so much more to it than that. And the kind of the advice was, takes 3,500 calories to burn a pound of fat. So just eat 500 calories less a day and you'll burn a pound a week. And what, you're not doing that? So yeah, so there's several problems with that. First of all, the calories that are listed on your packages are a huge guess. Like 50 years ago, somebody took a piece of food into a lab and in very controlled lab circumstances, did all their calculations and burnt their with the heat to say this little piece of food was 50 calories. And they think that that can carry over to a label on a package of food. So when you see calories on a package of food, it's a guess. It's an absolute guess. And when you go out and you go for a run and your fitness watch says you just burned 300 calories, again, it's a guess. So you really trying to count calories and burnt and count calories eating, it's a fool's game. You will never be successful by strictly trying to count calories. And if you've lowered your calories every single day over a period of time, your body's metabolism at the rate at which it burns fuel will eventually adjust downward to that lower portion. So as you're bringing your calories down every single day, your body will say, oh, we're not going to have enough calories. We're going to take some energy away from some of these more important functions like liver and heart and things like that, just in order to maintain our status quo. Because your body is very, very smart. It's always trying to maintain perfect health. It's always trying to maintain homeostasis. So if you're not giving it enough food on a consistent basis, it's going to kind of lower all of its body systems to account for those reduced calories. So yes, your metabolism is going to get lower and lower and lower if you can consistently eat lower calories every day. A much more effective strategy, if you want to think of calories at all, although I try and get my people to take calories completely out of the equation, I mean, it's important to be kind of aware of how much you're eating. Bottom line is, if you eat more calories than you burn every day, then yes, you're going to gain weight. But I like to really take calories completely out of the equation and add some fasting into your day, because that way you can go anywhere from 12 hours to, days long fasts, and then eat more. And so your body's always guessing at how many calories you're using. So it's never going to get to that kind of steady state low. And your body thrives on being fast in a fasted state. Historically, way back, 3 hours, your body lower its metabolic rate until it's been consistently deprived of calories over many, many, many days. So if you kind of keep it on that up and down state of calories in and calories out, you're going to have a much more regulatory metabolic rate where it's not going to be consistently lowered. So another thing I'd like to know, pop in the chat for me, when you think about the metabolism you might be going for, or what you think is a healthy metabolism, do you think a fast metabolism is what the goal should be? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So calories in, calories out is really kind of portion control, things like that. Eating healthy foods is much more important than calories, because you're not ever going to get an accurate calorie count either in or out. So nobody has any thoughts on what's a fast metabolism or a slow metabolism? What do you mean by exactly balanced metabolism, Allison?
I'm not exactly sure, other than it should be a metabolism that is right for the situation.
That's not what I like to call it, is a flexible metabolism. So yes, a fast metabolism, if you're aiming to keep your metabolism fast, it's kind of like running your car in the red zone all the time. So it's revving all the time. You're going to burn out your engine, which is kind of your car. If you're aiming to have a fast metabolism all the time, your organs, all your systems, everything's going to be your aging. Your body's aging mechanisms are going to be sped up, and everything's going to age much more quickly. What you want is a flexible metabolism. Yes, a healthy, balanced metabolism, so that if you're working out, if you're busy, if you're very active, your metabolism is working effectively. But if you're in that downtime, if you're a little bit quieter, you want your metabolism to slow down. So yes, people think that they need that fast metabolism, but really what you want is that balanced, flexible metabolism. Yes, functional, obviously you want a functional metabolism, but that means different things for different people. But yes, that's absolutely correct. That aiming for that fast metabolism isn't necessarily where you want to go in order to live a long, healthy, productive life. So, so working out at that really high level, again, not only puts stress on it puts stress on your body. Your cortisol, your adrenaline, all these stress hormones are going to be active in that high energy, high metabolic state. Oh boy. So stress. So put in the chat for me. And if you've been paying attention, you'll know what these 3 things are. What are 3 things that you think might affect your metabolic health? I'd love to hear what you think those things might be. We just talked about one of them. Okay, so there's a lot of things that affect your metabolic health, but three of the biggest things are stress, gut health, and toxic load. Um, yeah, exercise, those aren't necessarily going to affect your metabolic health unless you like over exercise. But stress, yes, stressors are going to affect your metabolic health, absolutely. So those three things, stress, gut health, and toxic load are three things that are going to really affect your metabolism. And they're three things that we have control over. So let's start with stress. We all live in stressful times. Even before the current health situation, we lived in very fast-paced times. We all have jobs and commutes and spouses and children and things that mortgages and things that were always stress. 10, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago, the stress response was what kept us alive. If you're out foraging or doing what, proto-humans did, and all of a sudden the saber-toothed tiger comes, then you need everything to shut down except for your heart, your lungs, and your muscles so that you can run away or you can fight and you can keep yourself alive. Then when the thing is, the threat is gone, then your parasympathetic system gets in, your rest and digest system kicks in, and you can recover. When we're in the steady stress state, as we all are, we're all constantly stressed. The first things to shut down when we're in the stress is your digestion and your hormones. And these are two things that are really, really important for a healthy metabolism. So the things that was really designed to keep us alive, the stress response, the sympathetic fight or flight stress response, is now what's literally killing us. So in order to kind of alleviate some of that stress response that's killing us, it's preventing our digestion from working appropriately, that's keeping all our stress hormones high, not allowing our digest hormones and our other hormones to work. That's what's really keeping us not well. So managing your stress whenever possible is really, really important for managing a healthy metabolism and a healthy lifestyle. So some of the things I like, see, these are some things that like easy take-home things that you can do to try and reduce your stress. So one of the things it's so easy and it's so free and it's just, there's a million different kinds. One of the things, the best things to do is meditate. I know a lot of people think, oh, woo-woo, meditation, but it doesn't have to be sitting in a lotus position and chanting Om and things like that. There's a lot of different kinds of meditation. And if you look around, there's a lot of free apps on your phone. Even just sitting in nature and listening to the trees and breathing can be a form of meditation. So find, oh, that's a very big question. Estrogen suppression. That's something that we can address if anybody wants to chat with me privately. It would depend on why the estrogen is suppressed and things like that. But anyway, so stress. So meditation it's been proven over and over again how meditation can really help reduce that cortisol, can help lower your blood pressure. It can help keep your just everything kind of a little bit calmer and quieter and let that rest and digest system kind of kick in. So I want you to do a little bit of a meditation with me. Bear with me. So just sit, close your eyes, just breathe for a minute. Just breathe, pay attention to your breath. For now, just pay attention to your breath. Just breathing. As the thoughts come in, they will. Thoughts will come in. Don't try not to think. The human brain is thinking. It thinks like 80,000 thoughts a day. So don't try and stop the thoughts. Just acknowledge it and then send it on its way. One more nice deep breath in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 counts in, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and then hold at the bottom again for 4 counts. So here we go. Get ready with me? Go. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Now just take a couple of, keep your eyes closed, take a couple of nice, deep cleansing breaths and notice how you feel. Do you feel a little bit calmer? Brain maybe a little bit quieter? And gently, when you're ready, gently open your eyes. It's just that easy. Meditation can be just that easy. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need to spend any money. There's tons of free apps. Just to take a moment, even 5 minutes at the beginning of a day, in the middle of the day, before bed, to just kind of use your breath or use whatever tools you have to kind of quiet your mind and get your heart rate down. It's really, really important to kind of help that cortisol and adrenaline, particularly at the end of a day, to just kind of quiet down. Another really good way to lower your stress is to get outside. That we're designed to live outdoors. We need the sunshine, particularly bare feet. If you can take your shoes off and get your feet in the dirt, the earth gives off an amazing energy that works with our own energy to kind of balance our body into the whole sync of the universe. So if you can get outside, touch a tree, I go out and into the woods and hug trees. And, like I said, I'm new to the city, and Methuen isn't really a city, really, I guess. But when you live on a farm, it's the city. So I feel a little bit, and I love it here, but I'm a little bit like, where's all my trees and where's my grass and things like that. So get outside whenever you can and get some vitamin D, get some fresh air. It is never, ever too late to start, ever. You can be very old, like 100. I'm going to be 120. I threaten my children I'm going to live to be. I'm only halfway through my life, so it's never too late. You can start right now to make healthier choices and make little choices as you go. That don't overwhelm yourself. So get outdoors whenever you can. Get outside and get some fresh air, get some sunshine, get out your bare feet and your fingers in the dirt, and just enjoy nature. Another important thing to have to reduce your stress is to have a support system of some kind. Humans are not designed to be solitary. So if you happen to live alone, try, online if you have to. Just get somewhere you can go to share to share your struggles, to share your joys. Get a support system so that you're not alone when these stressful things happen to you, when you can share it, it lessens the load. Another really important thing is sleep. Having a good sleep system is very, very important to lowering your stress, particularly these days with all the Wi-Fi's in our phones. I know a lot of people use their phones as their alarm clock, or they go to sleep with their phones. I'm here to tell you right now, get the Wi-Fi out of the bedroom. You can even unplug it right at night if you really want. That Wi-Fi is really going to interfere with your sleep patterns. Have a consistent sleep habit. Turn off your screens. If you can't turn off your screens, at least get the blue light blocking glasses, because that reduces your melatonin production and prevents really solid sleep. So get rid of your screens an hour or two before bed if you can, and have a consistent sleep hygiene, I guess, just because sleep is really, really important, and most of us do not get enough of it. It can be very challenging, both in time and in quality of sleep. I don't recommend sleep supplement, like sleeping medications, things like that. Try and get your sleep naturally whenever possible. Essential oils. Essential oils can be really, really good. Lavender is a great essential oil to use. You can, put some on your pillow or get a little diffuser for the side of your bed. Lavender works right. It can go right into the blood-brain barrier and just kind of take your brain and shut it down and help it relax for the night. So there's several: frankincense, lavender, petitgrain. There's a lot of different essential oils you can use that can really help ease your body into that sleep system. And one of my absolute favorite ways to reduce stress is laughter. I mean, just laughter is literally good medicine. There's a guy, I think his name is Norman Cousins, who had, I believe, a very serious autoimmune issue, and healed himself just by laughing. So if you can laugh, put on, I don't know if you have a rom-com that you like or a funny book, or if my grandchildren make me laugh all the time. There's a really funny YouTube video. If you go to YouTube and search for Mom with Chewbacca Mask, this woman has a Chewbacca mask on, and you won't be able to stop laughing. It's super, super funny. So if whenever you can, just laugh. Just laughter is literally really good medicine. Um, so those are some of my main takeaways for really easy things you can incorporate into your life to reduce your stress. I kind of wanted to stop here after each section. I want to open it up to questions. Feel free to pop it in the chat, or you can right now, if you want to unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask me a question if you have any questions about what we talked about so far, metabolism or stress. Nope. All right, so let's move on to the next thing that is really important in keeping your metabolism running smoothly, and that's gut health. Like we talked about when we talked about stress, when you're under stress, the first thing that shuts down is your digestive system. So when you're constantly in a state of stress, you're not going to be digesting your food well. You're not going to be 75% of your immune system is housed in your intestinal tract. So if it's not functioning properly, your immune system is not going to be functioning. Don't we all need a healthy immune system now? I mean, now more than ever, it's important to have a healthy immune function. So having healthy gut is really key to keeping yourself healthy overall, as well as your metabolism. So with all the stress that we're under, with all the fast foods and the processed foods and the sugars and the toxins and all these things that we put in our body, our gut health is really, really suffering. So in order to really maintain a really good gut health, it's important to take some steps to repopulate your gut with healthy biome, and any leaky gut issues sometimes with all the stress when we're really putting out so many hormones and like hormone mimicking toxins and things like that that can really go right through your gut and create little perforations. It's called leaky gut syndrome, that can really cause a lot of really diseases and really dis-ease in your body. So some of the things that we can do to maintain good gut health are, like I said, find a really good quality probiotic. And honestly, one of the best ways to really populate your gut with a lot of good microbiomes is out in the wild. I mean, there's some really good probiotics, but most of them really, they just kind of get into your stomach and the stomach acid destroys them all, and they don't get all the way down into the small intestine where there's, or the large intestine where they're supposed to go. So it's important to eat fermented foods and things like that, but really go in the fall and go to an organic orchard and eat the apple right off the tree. Don't wash it. There's hundreds of thousands of microbes. I'm having trouble with my words tonight, on that apple. So just go ahead and eat that apple. That's where you're going to get. Be near other people. I mean, obviously these days you need to be careful, but you're going to get from other people is where you're going to get some healthy microbes. And these are the ways that humans are designed to get their microbes. And honestly, Louis Pasteur was probably one of the worst things to happen to human health, really, when he proposed germ theory, because we're so busy killing germs that we're also killing all the good bacteria that are supposed to be helping. There are 100 trillion cells in our body that are not ours. So we're more non-human than we are us. And all of these trillions of microbes are essential for our health. They communicate, they take our like hormones, and our hormones communicate with each other via these microbes. The food that we eat is like translated with these microbes, and they're what prime our immune system to function. We cannot really survive and thrive without these 100 trillion cells in our body that are not our own. So while we're busy, sanitizing everything, we haven't yet invented the sanitizer that only kills the bad germs, right? So we need to really find ways out in the wild to get a really wide variety of some of these things that will help our body really thrive. Again, and fasting can really help your gut health too. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Giving your gut a little bit of time to just sort of recover and move everything through. We're not really designed to eat all the time. And honestly, there have been some scientific studies that have shown that people worry about when they fast that their metabolism is going to slow down, and they've actually found that the opposite is actually true. And when you think about historically, it makes sense. If you're, proto-human and you're out of food, you haven't had food for a few days, if your metabolism slows down, you won't be as effective at going out and getting more food. So you need that fast metabolism. You need effective muscles and heart and lungs in order to go out and hunt for food, forage for food, however you need to get it. So they've actually found that fasting, at least temporarily, can raise your metabolism. So don't be afraid of metabolism, of fasting in terms of reducing your metabolism. It can be very healthy for your gut to take a little downtime to kind of recover and let the microbes that are in there do their job of healing and recovering your gut. Also, there are some really good essential oils that can really be soothing. Peppermint is a really good soothing oil for your gut. I forgot to do my prize for stress. So first prize, pop in the chat. The fifth person to pop in their chat their favorite way to de-stress wins a prize. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Everything needs a rest. The gut and all yep, absolutely. All right. Fifth person wins a prize. We have 3. These are great ways. I love to take a walk myself. What kind of podcasts do you like to listen to that are relaxing? I'm always looking for new interesting podcasts.
I'll just unmute.
Okay, that's easier.
Probably easier.
Yep.
Hi, thank you for doing this.
Oh,
Let's see. I listen to so many podcasts. What are you interested in? Because I listen to hundreds.
Everything. I'm interested. Well, obviously, I'm interested in health.
I really like the Exam Room podcast. Do you know that one?
No.
That's from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, Dr. Neil Barnard's group.
Yep.
Called the Exam Room podcast. I'll put that in the chat. That is really, really digestible.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. I'm always, who did we have a cat? Was Kathy the 5th? Kathy K? Are you the big winner?
She is.
I think that's number 5. Fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Carrie, for the, I'll have to check that out. That sounds like a really interesting one. Those are number 5 fantastic ways to reduce your stress. Getting out in nature, taking a walk, going for a hike. Derek, where do you like to hike? Do you have like a particular place you like to hike?
Everywhere. Lynn Woods, the Willowdale Forest up there. Go up to New Hampshire and Vermont a lot, but those are some of the local ones.
Yeah. My husband and I love to go out into the woods or the beach. I'm a little bit more of a beach gal than the woods gal, but it's hard. As long as it's nature, I'm good. But I'm a Pisces. I like to stick my feet in the ocean. I do. Even in January, I have to take my shoes off and put my feet in the ocean. All right. So our gut health prize, the 7th person who comments what ways they take care of their gut wins a prize. Paint. Ooh, who's the artist? Jenna, are you an artist? I have such huge mad respect for artists because it's like, ugh, I just wish I could do that. And I like to slap paint on paper, but it never looks like anything. So
I think everybody should do some painting. Even if you don't think you're an artist, you can doodle, you can use Sharpie markers on paper. There's always something to do.
I agree, Jenna. And that is something I've struggled with, is calling myself an artist, because I love to like art journal and I quilt and I do things like that. But I'm like, it's like, I see all these beautiful, comparison. I try not to compare because that's, the thief of joy. But I agree. And everybody, when I hear people tell me they're not creative, I'm like, everybody's creative. Everybody creates something. But I love that, Jenna. That's great advice. Everybody should do art. All right, we're only on 3. Nobody gonna win the grand prize? Anyway, so we'll keep, anybody else has any things for gut health, we're gonna keep going until we get to 7. Let's move on to, I saved toxic load for last for 2 reasons. First of all, I think it's one of the biggest factors in our gut health or our metabolic health these days. But more importantly, I think it's one of the easiest to address. Thinking about reducing your stress can stress you out, right? thinking about trying to heal your gut and how do I do that? How do I eat? What do I do? That can be overwhelming if you're particularly if you're trying to do it on your own. These things can seem overwhelming to make changes. How do I have to change everything I eat? Do I, all these things can seem like a big obstacle, but toxic load is absolutely achievable and fun and easy to make some changes because toxins are everywhere. We live in a very toxic world. There are something like 80,000 new chemicals in our world that weren't here even in my parents' day. Yeah, I know I'm old, but not that old. And honestly, the European Union has banned most of them, but they're still used in the United States extensively. So they're everywhere and you can't avoid them. But there are lots of ones that you can. The ones that are in your home, the ones that are in your personal products, you can make switches out for non-toxic things. The thing about these toxins is they're everywhere. And so many of them, they go in and they're hormone mimicking. So like there are toxins that are like called xenoestrogens. And I've heard them called earmuffs for the cells. And I thought that was a really good description because they will go in and a lot of these molecules are very similar to your own hormones. So these xenoestrogens or other toxins that mimic hormones will go onto your cell and they will go into the cell receptor. And so that when your real hormone comes in, there's no place for it to go because these toxins have covered the cell. So your own hormones cannot communicate with your cells because these toxins have taken the place. So they really do damage at a cellular level and on so many other levels. So they can go into the blood because your brain is mostly fat. And one of the ways your body protects itself from toxins is to create a fat cell, and it puts the toxin in the fat cell, which is why so many of the toxins can go right into your brain, or why you can maybe have some weight loss resistance because your body is putting all these toxins into new fat cells. And it can be a really big problem, but it's so easy to get rid of some of these things. So some of the things that are really in our everyday life that we can really easily get rid of are fragrances, all our cleaning products, our health and beauty aids, clothing and furniture all have like the fire retardants and all these other chemicals in them. Our air, we can get a good air filter. Our water, if you live in the city, you probably, have really, at least chlorine in your water. There's they've fluoride. There's things in your water that are just not healthy. And one of the biggest things that is really bad for us is honestly pharmaceuticals. But some of the things like, I don't know, like growing up, the fabric softener smell, it kind of signals clean, right? Am I right? I'm not alone. And not to me anymore because I haven't used them in many years, but it signifies clean. But honestly, those fragrances that are in your fabric softener and in your dryer sheets are one of the biggest toxins in your house. So a huge recommendation would be to get rid of those. And instead of those, you can use the wool dryer balls. The wool dryer balls are amazing. And if you really have more static problems than that, you can put a safety pin right in one of the dryer balls and that will help reduce your static even more. You can add essential oils of your choice. What's beautiful is you can add different scents for, I like to put like lavender when I dry my sheets. Now that I don't have a clothesline because I live in the city. I don't know if any of you have ever like put your sheets on the clothesline. There's no better smell in the world than sheets fresh off the clothesline. Anyway, so dryer balls, you can put like lavender, or if you have like, smelly clothes, you can put some more powerful smelling oils on there. So it's not going to smell as strong as your fabric softener, but like now I walk down my street and I know who's doing their laundry because it's like, that's how strong these fragrances are. They go into the whole neighborhood when I'm out walking. So a really easy and they're cheaper too. Like, if you just your dryer balls, a set of 3 or 4 dryer balls will last. I made them myself probably 10 years ago and they're still working fine. So you don't have to keep buying them, and a little bottle of essential oil, depending on which oil, is $10 to $20, and that will last for months because you only need a drop or 2. So they're much more cost effective as well as much better for your body. Cleaning products. All right. So tell me honestly, how many of you have like an entire closet full of cleaning products? Right? I've seen some of my Facebook friends and they post on Facebook, they have, carts full of I don't even know what all these things do. And you have to keep them under lock and key or wear your hazmat suit, right? When the kids come over, or, you know, if you're using them, you got to wear your rubber gloves and, you know, right? Okay, you know what my cleaning closet consists of? I have a glass bottle. I have a gallon of white vinegar. I have my tap water, and I have several bottles of essential oil. That's it. So not only do I not have to buy all those toxic cleaners, but if my granddaughters happen to come over and they get into the cleaning cabinet and drink my cleaner, so, you know, I mean, I use the lemon oil in my water anyway. So I don't have to worry about poisoning anybody. And I get my house very clean and it smells amazing. You're not going to have any of that chemical, you know, cleaner. And particularly if you're using bleach in the bathroom. I don't know if you use bleach in your bathroom. People are so afraid of the germs in their bathroom that they're bleaching it. When the bleach mixes with the ammonia in the urine, it produces ammonium chloride. So, and that's a pretty toxic substance. So a lot of these cleaners are really, really bad for you. And it's so much easier and cheaper to just get some white vinegar. Even if you don't even use the essential oils, even just the white vinegar cleans pretty much everything in your house. So you can switch out all that stuff for things that are not going to hurt you. And I just think they smell so much better. I'm so in love with this, the fresh smell. I mean, it's just plants. These essential oils come from plants. It's just the beauty from nature that is just going to really enhance your cleaning and the smell of your house. Your health and beauty aids, go really make an effort to get, because whatever you put on your skin is going to go into your body. So everything that I use on my skin, I could eat. Most of it I make myself, and it's really easy to make it yourself. But if you don't want to do that, a lot of people don't want to have the time, or they just don't like it. Try and find health and beauty products that are non-toxic, because everything you put on your skin goes right into your body, and again, can just really mess with your cellular health. So try and get things that are not so toxic. It's one of those things that it's kind of an easy switch once you get used to it. And an air filter and a water filter for your water can be really helpful too. And here we're going to talk about pharmaceuticals. And I know this can be a bit of a point for somebody, but every single pharmaceutical, from aspirin, baby aspirin, all the way up to chemotherapy and everything in between, has a side effect. Anything that comes out of a lab has to some degree a side effect. Whereas if you can make some simple switches to an essential oil or a plant-based product, your body will thank you. You know, like if you have like some digestive issues, use a little bit of peppermint oil. Or if you can't sleep very well, use a little bit of lavender oil. If you're having some anxiety, try some frankincense, things like that. There's no side effects to these. Use safely. There's no downside to making a switch. But you know, prescription medicine, you know, I have to tell you to check with your doctor, and don't ever stop taking prescription medicine without checking with your doctor. But there are lots of all natural ways that you can switch out some of these toxic pharmaceuticals for something that's a little bit easier on your body. So for the next prize, the fourth person to put which essential oil smell would they like to use in their cleaning regimen? Fourth person. So honestly, I know there's a lot. What I want to stress here, see what I did there, is not to stress. Just, I hope you got something out of what I'm talking about, and just pick up one or two things. Again, this is recorded. So if you missed something, if you weren't taking notes, you should have been taking notes. Ooh, some good ones. Yeah. Fourth one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Carrie, big winner. Woohoo. Congratulations. Just do the ones that work for you. Don't try and incorporate everything. Don't try and change everything overnight, because that's a good way to set yourself up for failure. Just pick the ones that make sense to you, that you have access to, or that speak to you. So before we move on, is there any questions about, I think we skipped questions for gut health. So any questions on gut health or toxic load? Lema, if you want to unmute yourself, if you want to just ask or put it in the comments, I will be happy to answer any questions you may have at this point.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you
Sure.
I'd like to ask you a question about using white vinegar. I hate the smell of it. So how can you get rid of that smell?
Wait 10 minutes. Honestly, I have never had the smell last more than 5 or 10 minutes. It does, I don't mind the smell, I guess, because it's just, to me, it's fresher than some of the chemicals that I use, and I'm used to it now. But I get you, I hear you. It can be like vinegary, yeah. Adding some essential oils will help moderate that. So the stronger essential oil, the more it will moderate that. And then just wait, and the smell evaporates. It goes away pretty quickly.
Well, what about things like seventh generation and different cleaners that are supposed to be plant-based?
Some of those can be good. There, you can either check the EWG, the Environmental Working Group website, ewg.org. They have a list of a lot of these products, and you can check, and they will rate them all. Some of them I know, like I believe Mrs. Myers is supposed to be good and really isn't. And some of these, and they also, all those come in plastic bottles, and plastic, we're trying to get rid of the plastic, right? Let's use, try and use reusable glass. But yeah, some of those, the seventh generation, some of those, I would do some research. There's also an app, I think it's called Think Dirty, that you can just take a picture of the barcode, and it will tell you if, where it is on the scale of clean and not clean.
And can I just ask you how you make your dryer balls?
Yep, what I did is I just took wool, and it has to be wool, it can't be synthetic. I took wool and just, while I was watching TV one night, just wound it into a ball. So it's in a ball, and then you boil them, and the boiling felts it, so it makes like a ball. But these days you can find them anywhere. They sell them, they're pretty common now. When I was making mine, nobody had really heard of them before.
Okay.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
they're really easy to make, as long as you can sit and wind up yarn. It has to be wool, otherwise it won't felt. Yeah, Trader Joe's, Amazon has them, lots of places have them. I have some extra here. Sometimes we have them for special. But yeah, they're pretty easy to come by. You can, ingesting essential oils, I can only recommend the brand that I use. And if anybody's interested in the brand I use, check with me after. I will put in my cell phone so you can text me, or my email. And Jen has my email and all that contact info. And I would be happy to share with you the essential oil brand I use. That is the only one that I can honestly recommend to use internally. But yes, and if you want to do your research and choose another brand, that's up to you. But I personally can only recommend using internally the brand that I use. But yes, peppermint is amazing internally for digestive issues. It can be used for, and the beautiful thing about essential oils is they're what's called adaptogens. So like if you take a medicine, you're good, like, okay, taking a medicine is kind of like, it addresses a symptom rather than addressing the root cause, which is kind of like turning off the smoke alarm without finding the fire. So you're getting rid of the symptom, but whatever the root cause of that symptom was is still there. So the essential oils will in fact address the root cause of whatever your symptom is. And if you take a medicine, like if you take say a blood pressure medicine, it's designed to lower your blood pressure. Or if you take an antacid, it's designed to lower your stomach acid. Where essential oils, because they're adaptogens and because they're the same sort of cellular energy that we are, our bodies recognize them and they do what needs to be done. So if you take a peppermint oil, you can take it for indigestion, you can take it for nausea, you can take it for some, not necessarily maybe peppermint, but like ginger or fennel, some of these, you can take them for constipation or diarrhea. They'll work, one oil will do what needs to be done. It doesn't have a job. So that's what I love about essential oils, is they have such broad usage. And they're going to really get into your body at a cellular level and address the root cause rather than just masking symptoms, which is what I really like about that. So yes, peppermint you can digest, as long as do your research, get a brand that's been certified for internal use.
What about teas?
Teas are great. Their oils are a lot stronger, but a cup of peppermint tea, or if you took some fresh ginger and boiled it and drank that for tea, teas are great. As like for an herbal remedies, absolutely. The oils are a lot more powerful. So like if you had like indigestion and you wanted to use some peppermint, a cup of peppermint tea is amazing, but using one drop of essential oil is like drinking 52 cups of tea. So you get a lot more of the healing benefits from the oil, which you don't always need all that much. So sometimes a nice cup of peppermint tea is all you need to help your digestion feel better. So yeah, teas are great. Teas are fantastic. Any other questions? All right, so I just wanted to go a little bit over some of the symptoms that can result from some of these things, particularly toxic load that we've talked about. So if any of this resonates with you, either for yourself or for a loved one, think about particularly toxic load can really have an influence on this. So if you experience brain fog, again, some of these toxins go right to your brain. So if you're experiencing brain fog or fatigue, if you have allergies, a lot of these toxins cause allergies. And if you just did a cleanse or kind of got some of these toxins out of your life, you'd find a relief from your allergies. Weight loss resistance can be a symptom. Autoimmune issues, even anxiety and depression. Some of these mental issues start right in your gut. So if you can, your feel-good hormones come from your gut. So if you can improve your gut health, if you're experiencing anxiety or depression, you can really have a really good impact just by healing your gut and getting some of these toxins out of your life. People think of these as just brain things, and they're really not. They start in your gut. So they are physical things that you can deal with by getting rid of your toxins and healing your gut. So hi, Mary. Did you have something to say?
No,
Okay.
sorry, I'm going to mute myself. I just joined, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. All right, so for the grand prize, the fifth person to share with me what their biggest takeaway from what they learned tonight is. Fifth person. All right, to summarize, so that's pretty much, I didn't want to overwhelm you. This is a huge, huge subject. So I really only kind of dabbled on the top of this iceberg with each subject. As a gift for all of you who attended live tonight, I would like to gift you a half-an-hour consult with me if you're interested. If anything here resonated with you and you wanted more information, please feel free to reach out to me. You get a free half-hour consult with me. Don't be overwhelmed. Just watch the replay if you need to. Find a few things that resonate with you and kind of try and incorporate a little bit at a time. Don't feel you need to do it all at once. And try and make little baby steps to get some of these toxins out of your life and improve your gut health and reduce your stress. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Anything else that anybody has to ask or offer?
Can you give us your email address?
Yep, I will pop that in the chat right now, as well as my cell phone.
Looks like we don't have a grand prize winner yet.
Come on, people.
I don't see your email address.
Yep, it's coming up right now. And that's pretty much all I had to say tonight. So
I missed your
Putnam011 at mac.com. And my name, DPUTNAM 011 at mac.com, MAC.com.
We got two answers. Who's the fifth answer? Is that the winner?
0420
860.
377
Okay.
0420. Thank you for coming,
Wonderful.
Carrie. I hope you enjoyed it.
Dorothy, a quick question. When you're talking about fasting, what type of time frame are you talking about when you're not having some food?
There's all different time frames. I think I generally recommend for somebody who's not used to fasting and start with just a 12-hour window, 12-hour eating, 12-hour fasting.
Mm-hmm.
most people you'll find if you really pay attention only fast for maybe 4 to 6 hours, and the rest of the time, like they eat first thing in the morning and eat last thing at night. So even starting with that 12-hour window can be a good start, and work your way up to at least a 24 to 36 hours once a week, or once every other week or so, just to really give your gut a break. But yeah, I would start, if you're not used to it, start with 12 hours. And remember, the hunger goes away. So if you get hungry, usually the hunger is in your mind. And if you just go do something else, you'll find you're not really that hungry. And nobody really died from hunger in a 12-hour window.
Right.
So it's always more of a mind game than anything else. It can be hard to get into that mind space of not eating for that long. But yeah, start with 12 hours and work your way up from there.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Very good. Yeah.
All right, I'm calling Allison the winner of the grand prize because she was the only one that bothered to give me a takeaway. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, there were a couple others. One came to us
Oh.
privately by mistake.
Oh, okay.
That was the second one. So Allison's still the winner.
Okay. Yes, Allison, it is. It's absolutely very multifactorial. There's a lot that goes into it. And most people, when they think of metabolism, they think calories in, calories out, which is obviously a factor, but really not even the most important one. So yes, thank you for that. I'm glad you got something out of it. Yay, Allison. Nothing else for me tonight?
I was going to ask you,
Mhm.
when you were talking about gut health, what foods do you recommend? You said organic apples, but that's all you said. So
Yeah.
what foods do you recommend for gut health?
Yeah, there's a lot of food. More what I try and get people to, whenever possible, to avoid is processed foods, sugars, anything like with chemical, like I used to teach people to read labels, and now I try and teach people to buy foods without a label. So whenever you can eat something from nature as opposed to something like Michael Pollan, one of my favorite food authors, he had his advice is still to me the best advice ever. He says, eat food, not a lot, mostly plants. And I change it to say eat real food, mostly plants, not a lot. So there, everybody has different likes. Everybody has different food sensitivities. You can't really say eat this, not that. But whenever possible, trying to eat something that you can find out in nature. And whether you're a meat eater or a vegan or a vegetarian, there's always healthier options. And I'm not here to tell you which. I don't do diets. I don't do meal plans. I just try and help people make healthier choices for what their lifestyle is, because everybody has a different lifestyle, everybody has different likes. So I will, generally on an individual basis, I will help people make choices, but in a nutshell, try and eat things from nature. Probiotics are amazing. Sorry, I'll get to you.
Dorothy, I have to go, Dorothy. Thank you for your time and your information.
Thank you for coming.
Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Probiotics are great. Again, you really need to get a good quality. Again, the company where I get my essential oils, we have one of the best probiotics out there. But yeah, probiotics are key because, like I said, we really have very poor gut health in that aspect because we use so many toxins and bleaches and antibacterials, and so we really need to have a supplement as a probiotic. And like things like sauerkraut and fermented foods are also good as well. And again, try and eat, don't be afraid of germs in nature, because germs are not really the enemy. What we want to do, instead of being afraid of germs, what I try and help people do is realize that if your body's healthy, if your metabolism is healthy, if your immune system and your gut are healthy, the germs don't matter. There are germs everywhere. You cannot avoid germs. Humans are walking bags of pathogens. That's just human nature. They're everywhere. So rather than try and be afraid of germs and get rid of all the germs, try and create more health within your own personal body. Take back control of your own wellness, and then you don't have to be worried about germs, because germs are everywhere. So yeah, probiotics are key. Absolutely. Yeah, so depending on, get a good quality one, and most yogurts are not, I find, are useless as if you're using them for probiotic. But there are a lot of other options. It's a really good way to fill, and a good quality supplement, because our soils are so depleted. We've like these vast monocultures of corn and soy have pretty much killed our soil. So there is very little nutrition in our food these days. So a good quality whole food supplement is also key, as well as a probiotic.
What about prebiotics?
Prebiotics are absolutely, because yeah, you need something to feed the probiotics. What I like to do, some of my favorite prebiotics, I know this shocks a lot of people, when I make a smoothie, I put the whole banana in. I don't peel it, because the banana peel has a lot of the prebiotics in it. There's a lot of good commercial prebiotics. Yes, prebiotics are very, very important as well. Good point, Nancy. The difference between pre and probiotics are basically food for the probiotics. So that's sort of like resistant starches, things like that. Like if you take white potatoes and boil them and put them in the fridge, they become a resistant starch, which is a prebiotic, which feeds the probiotics, because the probiotics need to have food in order to be healthy and make it all the way to the large intestine. So that's the problem with most commercial probiotics, is they don't have a prebiotic. Ours has, you'll see they're green. They have the chlorophyll, which feeds the probiotics so that they can get all the way to the large intestine. Most commercial probiotics, they just dissolve in the stomach and they never really get to the large intestine. Like they can even say, so many billion cultures, and that could very well be true, but not most of those won't make it to the large intestine, which is where they need to be. So do your research, check with me, get a really good quality prebiotic. There's also you can get prebiotic fibers that you can add to your cereals or your smoothies or whatever. Again, try not to eat too many grains and things. So grains, if you're eating grains, when we talk about toxins, probably the worst toxin out there is the Roundup. And if you eat grain, they're all sprayed with Roundup, which is basically, when you eat Roundup, it's basically an antibiotic. So if you're eating grains, you're eating an antibiotic, which is going to kill all the microbes in your gut. So, which is, it's all gluten this and gluten free that. And gluten is not necessarily a good thing to eat, but it's also maybe not the enemy we think it is. It's more about the Roundup that they're sprayed with rather than the gluten itself, which is really, for me, why the grains are so much more of a problem rather than the gluten, is because of their.
What would you substitute? I eat multi-grain cereal all the time. So what do you substitute for that?
If you have to eat grains, try and get organic as much as possible. Even organic, they've found has the glyphosate in it, but it will have less than conventional. So if you're going to eat grains, try as much as possible to eat organic. Oh, Zach Bush is amazing, isn't he? Yeah, that glyphosate.
Yeah, I that episode, I was driving to work and then I couldn't even get through the workday because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was annoyingly telling everybody about it, but I recommend that episode to everybody.
Yep. Yeah. Anything Zach Bush does. I have a lot of these, people that are sort of in the same field. A lot of them are, they don't see things the way I do, but Zach Bush, he has a lot of really amazing information, and listening to him talk about GMOs and people are like, it's not necessarily the genetic modification, but the fact is that what they've been genetically modified to do is to be Roundup resistant. So that they have this grain that really our body doesn't really recognize because the DNA is different, but worse than that is they've been made so that they can grow and be sprayed with the Roundup and not die. And what they do is they have these fields of grain, of Roundup resistant grain. And what it does, it's a desiccant. So they spray it before they harvest it because it makes it easier to get the grain off because it's dried. So everything is completely saturated in Roundup when you're eating grain, which is why one of the things I really encourage people to not do is eat grain. And if you have to, try and sometimes even people who really love their bread, if you get grain from Europe, I know people who have celiac disease who can eat bread from Europe just because none of it's ever been sprayed with glyphosate. So If you want, if you want to go to the expense of getting your grain from Europe, you should be fine. But if you really need to eat grains, do your best to eat organic whenever possible. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. Sometimes you can go find local bakers that have local millers and wheats that you can get stuff that's not. I mean, these big monocultures I've heard people say we have like 6 harvests left, which is scary, so we need to really, I'm kind of on a mission to help some of these bigger farms think about turning into regenerative farms, which are much better for the land and much better for the food and the people. And I'll have to remember that, Lynn. Yeah, my son lives in Swampscott, so I'm there all the time. One Mighty Mill. I wonder if he knows that. Him and my daughter-in-law.
They grow their own wheat on a field in Maine.
Nice.
And then they bring it down and they mill it in Lynn. And they have a coffee shop and they make like bread and bagels and they make whole wheat pasta and it tastes like nothing I've ever had.
Right.
In my life.
Right. Yeah. When you get stuff that's the way it should be in nature, it does not taste like anything you've, like even me, like I used to have a big vegetable garden when I lived on my farm, but here I have like, 2 square feet, but I try and grow as much as I can. And it, you pick your zucchini and it doesn't taste like the zucchini you get in the store. So, support your local farmers and buy at your local farmers markets or try and like work with farmers and help support community supported agriculture, things like that. I don't know, Carrie should be able to answer that one. Carrie, did you see that question? Is Mighty Mill in Lynn Square?
I do. I'm from Salem, so I'm not like a super Lynn person, but it's on Exchange Street in Lynn, which is right near downtown. I know it's not too far from like North Shore Community College.
Well, Exchange Street is right near Central Square.
There you go. Yeah, Central Square. That's right. Yep.
Well, my daughter's in Salem too, so and it's funny too because I'm in Methuen, which is like I could spit to Salem, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So whenever I talk about Salem, I have to specify. No, Salem, Mass. No, Salem, New Hampshire. It's kind of weird. All right. Anything else? I have a few minutes.
Nope. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for coming. If that's it, I'm so grateful that you all came and listened to me talk about something I'm so passionate about. And I hope you got something from it and
We
check in
did.
with Jen. And if you have my contact info, if you'd like to speak with me privately, I'd love to talk to you all and help you if I can.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
I
Dorothy.
very much appreciate it.
And thank you, everybody,
You're
for coming
welcome. It's
tonight.
been absolutely my pleasure. You all have a fantastic evening.
You too.